All right, so it's the next day for me, and what we have left to look at is my nudes, and I think it's got both warm tone nudes and sort of neutral nudes, so ones that don't go super cool toned. I've got some transition shades here, some deepening shades, some darkening shades, and then I've got these warm toned shimmer shades here as well. Let's go light to dark with the mattes, and then we'll look at these shimmer shades. This is Peach Smoothie by Makeup Geek. I used this for years. It's not quite as powdery as some of the other Makeup Geek shadows that I've had to declutter. This is Persian Peach by Coastal Scents. That one feels a lot creamier. It's lighter too, and it's a little bit more yellow toned, if you can see that. This is MAC Arena. This is Beaches and Cream. Oh boy, dropping stuff here. Beaches and Cream by Makeup Geek. This is Creme Brulee by Makeup Geek. Looks like a lot of these mid-tone neutral shades are Makeup Geek ones now that I look at it. And then this is Bake Sale by Makeup Geek. So a lot of Makeup Geek shadows here. Definitely have been purchasing this color family from Makeup Geek a lot over the years. Okay, I still like Peach Smoothie. I don't think I would use this shade a ton, so let's pass that on. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass this MAC shade in Arena on. Do think I wanna keep these remaining three though. I think these are nice neutral shades, and they do kind of build in a nice gradient for a neutral eye. This next grouping is where I feel like I do have a lot of sort of this reddish tone warm brown shade going on. So let's go ahead and swatch these. This is Oatmeal Tan from Coastal Scents. Nice medium toned warm brown. Next up is an unnamed shade. I feel like these unnamed shades were part of an Ofra palette that I got in like an old BoxyCharm when I still had that subscription. This shade is Tiki Hut from Makeup Geek. And this is a very yellow toned brown. All right, now we get into a lot of reddish browns. So this is from Sydney Grace. This is Omniscient. Such nice pigment. This is Sidekick from Makeup Geek. Little powdery, but still workable. It's not like it's crumbling and falling apart like some of the others. This is Wheat by Sydney Grace. This is Tan Lines from Makeup Geek. This one feels really powdery and dried. This one's definitely gone off. I can tell it. It's still swatching okay, but it feels totally different. This is Brown or Harvest Brown from Coastal Scents. And then finally, Frappe by Makeup Geek. That one still seems to be going okay. Definitely a different texture than this one that I touched. I do like that this one is a little bit more pinky toned. That is Frappe, so I do think I want to keep Frappe. I want to keep Oatmeal Tan, that first shade there. I definitely want to keep this one from Sydney Grace. And I like how red this one is. So that is Sidekick, so let's keep that. And I think that'll do me. I think I'm gonna get rid of these four. All right, so now we've got four darker reddish browns. This is Sydney Grace Acorn. Such pretty pigmentation. This is Sydney Grace Faithful, which I think is a little more brown and a little less reddish. This is Cabin Fever by Makeup Geek. That one still feels like it is working just fine. And then finally, this is Cocoa Bear, also from Makeup Geek. Do like how those Makeup Geek ones are just not quite as dark. Let me swatch that against Omniscient from Sydney Grace, because I feel like, yeah, there we go. That's what I was thinking. That one almost should have been over here. All right, so then Omniscient is almost exactly the same as Cocoa Bear, so I'm gonna get rid of that. To be honest, I'm gonna get rid of Cabin Fever, but I think I'm just gonna keep the two Sydney Grace ones. All right, so now we've got some warm bronzy shades, some lighter bronzes and deeper bronzes. Let's go ahead and swatch these. This is Fireside by Sydney Grace. This is more of a like peachy gold, but it's definitely got a lot more warmth in it than some of the other more neutral golds that I have over there. This is 20 something by ColourPop. That is a beautiful high shine foil. This is Sunset Gold by Coastal Scents. Nice golden bronze. I feel like I have quite a few of these shades though, so let's see. This is one from Ofra that's unnamed, so I don't even know. I think this was, like I said, limited edition sort of run. Not a bad shade. Kind of the less foiled cousin to the ColourPop one. This is Glamorous by Makeup Geek. That one's feeling a little dry. Looks like it still might be kind of workable. This is Sunset by Anastasia. So wet looking. Oh my goodness, is that gorgeous. All right, this is Brilliant by Sydney Grace. One of my favorite shades from them. I think this was in their autumn collection. Very similar to the Anastasia shade, but just a little more gold, a little lighter. And then finally, this is Gold Strike by, so let's see, who is this? Gold Strike is by Coastal Scents, which is almost a little more greenish of an undertone. All right, I'm splitting hairs here for sure because there's definitely a lot of similar shades. So I want to keep my favorites. And I think the ones that call to me the most in this are the ones that are the most shiny. Let's see, Fireside from Sydney Grace. I definitely want to keep 20 something from ColourPop. Definitely want to keep Sunset from Anastasia, as well as Brilliant from Sydney Grace. So that is the 1, 2, 3, 4. To be honest, I think I can pass these other 4 on and be just fine. All right, so the last palette I've chosen to use is one of my old Makeup Forever palettes. They don't even make these anymore. And obviously Makeup Forever isn't cruelty free, but these palettes were phenomenal and I will continue to use them. So this is their biggest size. And what I'm doing is going to go ahead and place, as opposed to going sort of row by row this way, I'm going to kind of move from warm to more neutral shades over here. That is what we're working with for space, and those are the warm tone shades that I have, warm neutral shades that I've chosen to keep. All right, so as I kind of looked at what was left, what I realized is I had some neutrally shades that had slight pinky undertones to them. So definitely not as bold and rose as my mauves or as the pink tones that I have set aside in another collection. And just for comparisons, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. These definitely have a pinky undertone to them, but they are in no means as pink as any of the ones that I've kept over here in the pinks and the mauves and purple section. But I think in terms of how I want to arrange the gradient inside of the rest of my neutrals, what I have, just to show you, is sort of more pinky tone shades. And then I've got a few that I would consider a little bit more cool toned, and I just debated with myself over whether or not I should have put those with my cool toned shadows. But what I realized as I kind of compared and contrasted here, I'm opening a full book, you know, when you look at the cool tones that I've kept there against a true cool tone color like that, they start to look a lot more brown. At least they do to my eye. Let me see if I can show you that there. So this one just looks a lot more gray, and that one looks like it has a lot more brown. It's definitely a cool toned neutral, but it's by no means as cool toned and steely gray as a lot of these other tones that I went ahead and put in my cool tones section completely. So it's slightly disconnected. I potentially could have put these with my cool tones, but I kind of like keeping them over here with more neutral shades. So I've got sort of pinky toned, cool tone shades, and then I would consider shades that are just true neutrals. So no pinky undertone to them, no cool undertone to them, just a very neutral base. So we'll do those last. Up first, this is from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Merciful. I think she does these pinky toned mattes really, really well. So that is Merciful. This is San Jose, also by Sydney Grace. This is Hayride by Makeup Geek. That one still feels really nice. Hayride was one of the last sort of collection colors they came out with. They're currently undergoing a rebranding. I'll be curious to see what those come out like. This is the shade Wedge from MAC. Such a nice shade. This is Speedway from Sydney Grace. A little bit more cool toned. This is Puppy, also by Sydney Grace. And then finally, this is Burnt Umber. This should have been in my warm tones, actually, now that I look at it. Yeah, that is Burnt Umber by Coastal Scents, and it probably should have been in my warm tones. I kept a plum shade like that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pass that along. Wonder if my thinking is slightly off. Let's go ahead and swatch. I am thinking that some of the ones that I thought were more neutral might actually be slightly pinker now that I see them. So this is Warm Taupe from Anastasia. Give me just a second, guys. I will come back here and Just wanting to swatch and make sure I've got these kind of in the right groupings. I was looking at them visually last night, and now I am wondering if I had these plunked kind of in the right spots or not. So we're just going to continue on. I did a lot of different kinds of swatching, but I feel like what I want to do is keep most of the shades here. All right, so I definitely feel like these first two shades from Sydney Grace, Merciful and San Jose, are super similar to one another. In fact, I don't even know if that difference is picking up on camera. I would say Merciful is slightly more pink toned, and that is the one that I'm going to go ahead and choose to keep. I'm going to pass this one on. It's a beautiful formula, but I feel like I don't need both of them. I do like this shade, but I do want to kind of put it further down. And then I've got these three shades here, which actually end up looking very similar to one another. This is Hayride from Makeup Geek, Wedge from MAC, and then Puppy from Sydney Grace. I think I'm going to keep Puppy and pass these two on. I just think they're a little too similar to one another. All right, so now we come to sort of bronze shades in varying depth. This is Anastasia Satin, is, as the name would imply, a satin formula that I think is really pretty. Then we've got Belize, also from Anastasia, another satin, and I do like satin shades. I find them to be super wearable, just everyday shadows as opposed to high foil. This is Boxer from ColourPop. And this is also Boxer from ColourPop. All right, so I have two Boxers from ColourPop. Clearly, I can get rid of one of those. This is Genie in a Bottle by Sydney Grace, a little bit lighter. This is Pocket Change from Makeup Geek. This is one of those Ofra shadows with no name. The final shade here is Transcendent from Sydney Grace, another one of my absolute favorite shades from her. And that one just looks almost liquid. It's so shiny and pretty. So I definitely feel like I've got a lot of duplicates here. Clearly keeping that one. I think between these two top shades here, I don't need both of them, and I kind of prefer the lighter one from Anastasia. So I think I will keep Satin and pass on Belize. And then I've got these three shades here that are very similar to one another. All right, so I know I'm passing on that one. I know I'm gonna pass on this darker one too. I feel like, I don't know, it just doesn't super impress me, so let's pass that one on. Let me swatch these three on my hand and see which one I prefer. I think I'm gonna keep these two here. So that is Boxer and Genie in a Bottle, Boxer by ColourPop and Genie in a Bottle by Sydney Grace, and then Pocket Change from Makeup Geek, I think I'm gonna pass on. I wanna move from these very sort of rosy / neutral bronzes into more of the cool tone bronzes, and then I've got a couple of sort of deeper shades here that I don't know if I'm going to keep or not. I'm less certain about these three. Let's go ahead and swatch this row though. So this is Aluminum Taupe by Coastal Scents. I do love taupes though, especially neutral taupes like this. That's gorgeous. This is Metal from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So shiny, so pretty. This is Tarte Shakedown. Their single shadows are actually really lovely formulas, I have to say. This is Truffle Glitter by Anastasia, a really gorgeous dark taupe that has really pretty micro shimmer running through it. And then this is Upfront by Sydney Grace. Let's go ahead and swatch these and see what they are and if I want to keep them at all. I don't know if I need these colors, to be honest. This is Cocoa Diamond from Coastal Scents. This is Roasted by Luxie. Oh, I may want to hang on to this one. And then this is Grunge by Makeup Geek. Those are very, very similar shades. All right, I do feel like this first shade, Aluminum Taupe from Coastal Scents, is super similar to the shade Tarte Shakedown. I think I'm gonna keep the Tarte one, pass on the Coastal Scents one, but I'm gonna keep all four of these. I love these tones. In terms of these over here, I don't feel like I need this Cocoa Diamond, so I'm gonna pass on that. And then I think I'm gonna keep the Luxie Shadow in Roasted and passed on Grunge from ColourPop. I wanna move to the rest of the bronzes because I think I wanna keep all my bronzes together so I can really see their tones differently, and then we will move into the rest of the mattes. Here are a whole bunch of bronzes that look remarkably alike. This is Lachaise, I think is how you say this. This is that indie brand that I still can't remember. It's a nice brown tone. This is Light Bronze by Coastal Scents. That is gorgeous. Swatches and feels so nice. This is Kodiak by Coastal Scents. A little bit deeper, slightly more cool toned. This is Topaz by Anastasia. It's pretty, but I'm not gonna lie, I think that Kodiak shade, or not Kodiak, what is this? Light Bronze shade from Coastal Scents is actually looking and performing a little better. This is Chai Spice from Coastal Scents. Then we've got Amber Bronze, also from Coastal Scents. I clearly just decided to purchase all the bronze shades. This is Medieval Gold by Coastal Scents. Ooh, is that nice. Gosh, that swatches really well too. Bokeh Mocha. Guess what? Coastal Scents. I feel like this first shade and this last shade are very, very similar. Well, I guess it's a little bit warmer and that one's a little more neutral. But I think I can pass that on and not miss it. I'm definitely keeping this next shade from Coastal Scents in Light Bronze. And then I think I want to keep this one too, called Kodiak. I think this would be a nice deepening shade when I don't want to use a matte. I think I'm going to pass on Anastasia Topaz. I like this Coastal Scents one better. And then I also think I'm going to pass on Chai Spice. I know I want to keep this one in that gold shade, and I want to keep that last one. I'm trying to decide if I need this as well. Yeah, I don't think I would need that. I think these 4 bronzes give me nice undertones, so let's hang on to those. All right, so here are my nudes that are more neutral toned. Up first, this is Custard from Anastasia. This has got a little bit more of a yellowy base to it, which I think is really pretty. Then this is Preppy from Makeup Geek. Hoping this one hasn't gone off because I really like this shade. Nope, we're good. That's really pretty. Also, a little bit more on the yellow tone side. I found these 2 shades work really well together to do a more yellow toned neutral look. Then this is Out of Town by Sydney Grace. That one is more neutral. And then this is Kokomo Cafe. This is from Coastal Scents. This is Warm Taupe from Anastasia, one of my favorite shades. For sure. Warm Taupe is in the Modern Renaissance palette, but I loved it so much I knew I wanted to have it in a single format. This is Dolce. This is a newer shadow to my collection from Luxie. This is Coastal Scents in Coconut Husk. Next up we have Light Taupe from Coastal Scents. One of my favorite deepening shades. This is Anastasia Ash Brown. This is Mocha from Makeup Geek. That one is starting to change a little bit, I can tell. And then finally Roasted, which was the new Luxie shadow that is darker. So I'm going to keep the darkest shade down here, which is Roasted, and then I'm going to pass on Mocha and I'm going to keep Ash Brown. That is those 2 there. I then also think I want to keep the shade here, which is Light Taupe, a little bit lighter. And then I want to jump and keep this taupey shade. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah. Duh. Warm Taupe. That is a nice little transition of colors there. In terms of what's left, definitely want to keep these 2 and this shade here. I feel like I can pass this cocoa shade on, and then let me swatch these 2 on my hand. So this is Dolce from Luxie and Coconut Husk are from Coastal Scents. Yeah, that one's okay. Let's go ahead and keep that one. All right, so that is kind of wrapping it up for my matte neutral shades. All right, guys, last section. These are sort of golds that lean a lot more neutral, so they're not very warm in their undertone. And if you can believe it, these are the last 6 shadows that we haven't swatched yet. Up first, this is Ofra Millennium Gold. This I actually think is really pretty, but it might be drying out a little on me, to be honest. It felt a little crumbly just then. This is from Coastal Scents. This is Elven Gold. A little bit lighter and brighter. This is an absolutely stunning shade. This is from JD Glow. This is part of their Metalon collection, and this is the shade White Gold. I think this is stunning. Look at the intensity and how gorgeous that is. Up next is Legend from Anastasia. This is more of a satin finish. Then we also have Just in Time from ColourPop. These are going to start to look a little more true gold. And then finally Magic Act from Makeup Geek, which was one of their foiled shadows. And that one is still going strong. That's beautiful. I'm going to keep the last 4. I think this shade from Ofra is starting to turn Millennium Gold. It just didn't swatch well and it felt very crumbly. And this one just didn't wow me for Elven Gold, and I feel like it's very similar to the shade Legend that I'm keeping from Anastasia. And then I like these 2 sort of lighter and deeper toned golds there. So Magic Act from Makeup Geek and Just in Time for ColourPop. All right, let's get these into the palette. All right, guys, so here is the final Makeup Forever palette. I actually really like how this came together. I think we've got a really nice sort of flow of warm tone neutrals to more pinky toned, into my bronzes, into more neutrally shades down towards the end here. And then I've also got headroom for one of these JD Glow shadows down here in a way that I think looks nice still. So just kind of recap, because I think I'm not entirely sure how many videos I've had to divide this into. So the first palette I put together, this is that little booklet palette from Adept Cosmetics that folds out like so, and we ended up with more cool tones going into more purple tones on this side. That is palette number 1. Palette number 2, also from Adept Cosmetics, is double-sided also. And we have more of my purples and corals and mauves going into some more of my greens and blue shades. And then my final palette here with my neutral shades that are true neutrals and warm toned. So that keeps all of my palettes in these 3 containers, and I'm kind of digging it. I think it's going to be very easy for me to find shades as I want to build palettes, and I think I've sorted through and gotten rid of duplicates, etc. I have to be honest, guys, I have not been counting how many I've gotten rid of, but I'm gonna guess I probably got rid of around 20 to 30 shades, maybe more. Bad declutter on my part. I'm usually better about reporting out to you guys on exactly what I've decluttered, but I'm quite happy with how this looks. And now I've got a bunch of little baby magnetic palettes of varying sizes that I can use for different projects to build different color schemes with. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm guessing video series now that I've edited it all, and I would love to chat with you guys down in the comments about how you feel about single shadows. Do you love them? Do you not really get into them? What are your favorites if you do love single shadows? Let's chat all things single shadows down below. Hope you guys are having an awesome week. Talk to you soon.